This is another episode from the series, Create Once, Use Forever. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can create that particular asset and you'll be able to save it and modify it however you want and then use it multiple times. It's good to have ready to use assets because editors who are doing that, they are saving a ton of time and they are not recreating everything from scratch. And trust me, it's going to be easy to create. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into the software. So we're back in Adobe After Effects. Let me just show you the comp settings, 1080 by 1920. I'm going to hit OK and this should be pretty easy. So we're going to go to the toolbar and I'm going to grab the rounded rectangle tool, and what you want to do is just create a shape like that. Okay, let's recenter. Then we're going to round it up a little bit. We're going to rename it to bar. And what we want to do before we get into the text, we're going to start with the movement for this. So I'm going to click on the layer, go to the beginning, and here I'm going to keyframe size in the properties panel. And then also I'm going to hit P on the keyboard and I'm going to keyframe position. So let's hit U and move these two keyframes forward. Now, I'm gonna change size to 0, so that way we got something like that. And then in the beginning, we're also gonna move the position to the left. So let's go ahead and grab X, something like that should be good. Maybe I went overboard. Yeah, pretty much perfect. So now all we need to do with this is just smooth it out by selecting all the keyframes and hitting F9. So now if you go to the graph editor, what you want to do is create a peak in the middle. So I'm going to go with the flow. I'm just going to click here and that way we got something like that. I would probably just speed up the movement and that should be fine. Next thing is the text. So I'm going to grab the type tool and here we're going to type in subscribe. Then I'm going to recenter and we want to add an animation to this. So it's going to be pretty easy. You just need to open up properties, go to animate and click on position. So now in position, we're going to change X to -50. So that way, as you can notice, it went to the left. Then we're going to go to add property and we're going to also pick opacity. Here we're going to change it to 0%. And then I'm going to open up Brain Selector 1, go to advanced. And here you want to change the shape from square to ramp up. Once you've done that, then make sure ease low is set to 100%. And one thing left is creating a movement. So in order to create a movement, you need to go to the offset, change it to -100%, keyframe, move forward and change it to 100%. So that way you get the text sliding from the left. In case if you wanted to have it from a different side, you can just play around with these values. So if I change it to 0 and then this to 50, it's gonna go from the bottom. So yeah, up to you. But for this, we're gonna use the left side because we're gonna be kind of stretching this from the left to the right. And yeah, you'll see later on. Now we also need to match the timing. This should be perfect. Yeah. All right. Our next step is adding an effect. So we're going to select the bar and I'm going to apply Bezier warp. Okay. So here we want to keyframe one value, which is going to be right bottom tangent. So I'm going to click here, hit U. I'm going to align it with the first keyframes and then let's have the playback on the second keyframes. So here, what I'm going to do is make sure to go to the X value over here and I'm going to drag it to the right. And that way it's getting extended really nice. Then I'm gonna also apply the same graph. So it's gonna be a mid graph. And then literally like 2 frames or 3 behind, I'm gonna change that value back to the original value. So I'm gonna copy this and paste that keyframe here. Then what you need to do is just get it back to the original state. So I'm gonna hold Control and click on this. So we're gonna get something like that, which is looking weird. But we're gonna have a fix for this. So now you need to go to the comment and grab the expression I left for you. Just copy that expression and alt click the stopwatch over here. So I'm gonna paste it and then I'm gonna click away and look at that now. You see that bouncing effect? It's looking absolutely amazing. Okay, this is really cool, but I just got a feeling like we're a bit too slow with this. So I'm gonna probably shorten the distance between keyframes. But obviously then we need to adjust the text as well. So let's get it back. All right, so now what we need to do is basically just select the bar. I'm gonna copy that effect, so just select this and hit Control C, then select the text and hit Control V. So that way also the text is gonna get stretched out. We could have created an adjustment layer on top, but I just prefer to keep as few layers as possible. And then what I'm gonna do is hit U and just select all the keyframes over here. Let's move them forward. And then I'm gonna head over here to the toolbar and I'm gonna select the star tool. Now let's go ahead and create a triangle. You can hold Shift and then I'm gonna recenter. I'm gonna go to the rotation and change it to 180. Recenter again and go to the polystar 1. Here I'm gonna right click on Polystar Path 1 and convert to Bezier path. Here in the path, if you select it, you'll be able to see the points. And now I'm gonna delete these 2 points over here. I'm gonna select the bottom one and I'm gonna drag it upwards while holding shift. And then I'm gonna select these 2. Then you can double click them or just hit Ctrl T. And I'm gonna squeeze it in like that. You can hold Ctrl. So now, once it's done, we're gonna go ahead and add round corners effect. Then if you open it up, you wanna change it to 15. I actually accidentally set it up. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do with this is probably change the color to white and I'm gonna hit OK. We can rename it to pointer. I'm gonna make sure that the anchor point is on top of the pointer. So let's go ahead and click that tool and we're just gonna grab the anchor point and shift it a bit. So now we wanna have the pointer somewhere here where the movement starts. And then select the pointer, hit P and also hold shift and click R and we're gonna keyframe these 2 values. So now I'm gonna go to the beginning and we're gonna probably have that pointer go from the bottom like that. Then also I'm gonna play around with rotation a bit. So we got something like that. Now I'm gonna select all the keyframes and I'm gonna hit F9. We can probably go to the graph editor and I'm just gonna squeeze it into the left. And then we're gonna have the playback on these 2 keyframes and I'm gonna create a new null object. So this is gonna be our pointer controller. And we wanna make sure before we parent anything to hit Y on the keyboard or just grab this tool and we're gonna put it on top of the pointer. Okay, that's great. Now we can parent the pointer to the pointer controller. And we can also set up the keyframes for these 2 values. So now we wanna open up all the keyframes and take these 2 keyframes and align them with these over here. Now I'm gonna move to the right to align our playback with these keyframes. And we're gonna move to the right like that. And we're also gonna change rotation. Okay, something like that seems to be good. And then we need to make sure to have the exact same graph as in these keyframes. So I'm gonna read the values and it's obviously the mid graph. So I'm gonna select these 4 and I'm gonna apply it. So as you can notice, that pointer looks like it's actually opening up the animation and looks very much like PC interface. So now we need to imitate that clicking effect. So whenever the pointer is grabbing this, it needs to have the scale go down. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a keyframe for scale around this time, then move forward and we're gonna change it to 80. Okay, so this is already looking like it's clicking. And then whenever the pointer is not holding the shape anymore, it needs to kind of look like the scale is going up. So I'm gonna select these 2 keyframes, copy, paste, and then time reverse them. Like that. Okay, I would probably just make it a bit sharper. So we hit our goal, which is basically making the pointer look like it's interacting with the rectangle. And now we can proceed to another thing, which is first playing around with the opacity in our subscribe button. So I'm gonna hit T on the keyboard and I'm gonna set a keyframe and then I'm gonna go back and here we wanna start with like 50%. Okay, so whenever the pointer is leaving the rectangle, we're gonna light it up. So let's go ahead and move it a bit forward. Alright, so the light up effect is actually looking fire, but we kind of want to make it in the YouTube style. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the bar and we're going to change the fill color, actually the solid color over here, to linear gradient. So now I'm going to open it up and here we want to pick different colors for this. So probably this one is going to be a bit more reddish. Okay, looking nice. And the other one is going to be red. So I'm going to leave it at that, hit OK, and I'm going to expand that dot over here. Then we can also expand the other one. So now we're gonna add light sweep to the bar. So I'm gonna go for this. And we wanna change some settings. So first I'm gonna change it from sharp to smooth. And I'm gonna probably bump up the width a bit. And maybe let's change the edge thickness to 3. And then we also wanna change the sweep intensity to 0. And now what I wanna do is keyframe edge thickness, hit U, move backwards, and we're gonna set it to 0. So now it's gonna light up and we need to make sure that it's happening whenever the bounce movement occurs. Okay, so it's gonna be somewhere here. And also we need to add one more effect, which is gonna be glow, or in case if you have deep glow, you can use that as well. And we kind of wanna change some settings here. So I'm gonna set exposure to 0.3. Then what I'm gonna do is probably bump up the radius a bit, not a lot. And we're gonna keyframe exposure. Let's hit U and let's align that keyframe with the one we set for the light sweep and we're gonna change it to 0. And now we're gonna see how it looks with the motion blur on. And this is fire. I would probably just go to the bar and we're gonna make sure to offset the edge thickness and exposure a bit more towards the right. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is just make sure to go to modes and change the subscribe to bar, enable the bar, and I'm gonna hit T for the pointer, T for the bar, and I'm gonna parent opacity to that opacity. Now I'm gonna create a keyframe, move forward and change it to 0. So that way, with only 2 keyframes, you'll be able to close this animation. Now let's check it out how it would look on the reel. Bro, this is so good. Absolutely love this. And the best part is that you can change the colors, you can change the text, it's all up to you. Then you just save that animation and import it into your project and you got a ready animation that you can use over and over again. So I love these types of animations because you can just create them once and use forever. And that was probably the biggest reason why I created Motion Essence. So if I go to one of these, you just drag and drop and you got a ready animation. Check it out. And then you can just customize it however you want. You can change the text, you can uncheck this, so you don't really need to have all these checks. And this is just saving a bunch of time. So I highly recommend to create your own animations, or you can just skip the whole part of creating and go to editing shift in the description below. Alright guys, that being said, we're gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. And yeah, check out the video on the screen and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.